So there was a lot of Twitter discussion 2 days ago between Germaine, Pratt, Patrick Queen, and it got a little crazy. So Skip Bayless posted this. Lamar Jackson now has weapons he has never had before. He's flat out a stud. Odell is looking like Odell. The Ravens looked like a Super Bowl team last night. Obviously, after they beat us. Shout out to the Ravens for beating us. You guys are the better team. Whatever. Germaine Pratt responds to this. Yeah, only looked good because 9 got hurt. That was his response. Well, Patrick Queen did not think that was a correct response he should have said. So Patrick Queen went ahead and responded to him. He said, y'all still got cooked on defense. Which, to be honest, if you watch that game, right, before Joe went down, we got our rhythm back. We got our rhythm back. We were getting going. We looked good again. We had that touchdown drive. Our defense got a couple key stops versus the Ravens. And was it because, they lost their tight end, Mark Andrews, for the season? Absolutely, right? Mark Andrews going down for the season definitely helped in the aspect of, it got our defense to play a lot better. We didn't have to go against Mark Andrews, which was, good in the context of not having to go against him. Awful in the context he got injured. I never want to see an injury. But then also Lamar Jackson got injured in that game, right? Not completely injured, but he had an ankle problem. So everything was kind of going in the direction of Bengals scored a touchdown. It would have been 10-7. You go down the field. The Ravens probably come back and answer with a touchdown, right? 14-10. Then the Bengals go down the field before halftime. They score 17-14. And then again, all hypothetical situations, right? Could they still have put 30 points on this Bengals defense and cooked them? Absolutely. At the end of the day, we don't know, right? It's really all about momentum. And the second Joe went down with injury, the Bengals lost all the momentum. So while you can sit there and say, well, yes, the Bengals would have kept going at the same momentum pace and did amazing. We're really just throwing hypotheticals out there, and we don't know if that even it would be the case. We have seen the Bengals defense in the past do that, but we saw the Bengals defense versus the Texans not really do that. And if Joe would have stayed in, who says that Joe and the Bengals wouldn't have struggled on offense the next drive, right? Obviously, they had a touchdown drive, but we forget before that drive, they struggled on offense immensely and couldn't move the ball other than the first drive. So in the context of what Germaine Pratt is saying of listen, if Joe didn't go down, I think the Bengals would have had a chance to win that game if Joe did not go down. I think 1,000% you could say that. I'm not going to 1,000% say that they would have won that game. I think it would have been a typical AFC North battle. It would have came down to the final minute or two of the game, and we would see who would have won it in the end. And maybe it would have been the Ravens, maybe it would have been the Bengals. But at the end of the day, we didn't get to see that because Joe went down with injury. So to the point of view of Germaine Pratt, he is not wrong that, yes, when number 9 went down, that's when, it all went over and went off. I will say before number 9 went down, I disagree with Patrick Queen. He did not cook our defense. He did not cook our defense at all. But once number 9 went down, all the momentum on the Bengals side was lost. And yes, then, they actually did end up cooking us. And again, how I look at it is, right, that's still no excuse on our side. Just because we lost our quarterback, which obviously is awful, horrendous. We already had no Sam Hubbard in that game. We also had no, T. Higgins, and of course Yoshi. Look at the other side. They didn't have Mark Andrews. Lamar got hurt. They didn't have Ronnie Stanley. They didn't have Marlon Humphreys. They didn't have their guys too. So, there's no excuse on why our defense absolutely crapped the bed. You could say momentum factor, but they still got to play the best they can play. They still got to do the best they can do. So, again, there's no excuses on either side here at the end of the day. But, yeah, they did end up cooking us in our defense. But I think it is important to mention that, as Germaine Pratt says, which is true, yeah, you were happy 9 went down, responded Pratt. They were attacking you, good crap. And we did. We got a drive going. We got the momentum back. And again, what ifs, right? We could have went down there and kept attacking them and playing amazing and scored 16 touchdowns. Or we could have, in hypothetically speaking, been the same exact department. We could have got stopped a couple of times. They could have scored a touchdown. We could have saw what happened in the Texans game happen again. So I don't always agree 1000% with, the take that like, oh, well, if number 9 doesn't go down, we win that game. I think we had a chance to win that game. I think if number 9 did not go down, then I think we had it probably with the momentum we had that aspect at that time, period, we had a 65 to 70% chance to win that game. Once number 9 went down, we lost all the momentum. And then once number 9 went down, we lost all the momentum. I'd say we sat at probably a 45%, 50% chance to win the game, just based on the fact that it was a close game. And they didn't have Mark Andrews, and they didn't have Ronnie Stanley, and Lamar had an injury, right? All those things, I think, then we still sat at a 50-50 shot to win the game. What killed our chance to win the game, and is ironically enough, wasn't even Jake Browning. It really wasn't. Jake Browning came in, he was actually kind of successful with his throws. It was our defense just gave up. Our defense just said, whatever, we're done. We don't have a quarterback. We're not going to try. And you can see on some of those plays, they didn't try. And what ended up happening here was our defense said, okay, what we're going to do here now is we're going to try to strip the ball, get the ball on every given play. We're going to try to punch the ball out. We're going to try to rip the ball out. We're going to hit them hard and cause them to fumble and cause them to turn over the ball. And it didn't work. And we got too ahead of ourselves trying to make these big plays, not just looking at one play ahead of us, one play ahead of us, one play ahead of us. Instead, we looked at it as, listen, our quarterback is down. We're not going to win on offense. We need to win on defense. And it got to a point where our defense tried to do everything. And they failed. They failed. And yeah, they did get cooked on defense. Because at the end of the day, our offense kept going 3 and out with Jake Browning. That wasn't working out. Our defense was tired. They were already exerting a lot of energy, going crazy, trying to get the ball out, punch the ball out. It was a mess. So, yes, the Ravens beat us. The Ravens outplayed us. They, played a better game than us. And I will say a lot of that came after Joe Burrow's injury. But again, there's no excuses. They also had injuries out there too. It's, if anything, it's more of a absolute L on our part, because at the end of the day, this coaching staff, this, Duke Tobin, Katie Blackburn, Zach Taylor, they should have had themselves a solid backup quarterback going into this season. They should have. And the fact that they didn't is really just mind-numbing and just awful. I mean, they set themselves up for failure in the case that Joe went down with injury. And this is why, by the way, again, I think more and more why they did not want to put Joe in there. Or sorry, take Joe out and put Jake Browning in there when Joe had a calf strain. And I think this is a lot of the reason why. But it is what it is. We lost. Shout out to the Ravens for winning. Worried about the Steelers and the rest of the season. Peace out.